Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Jay and welcome to the channel, and welcome to Tacano Emergent Biopark in Jurassic World Evolution. Now, for those of you who have been on the channel for quite a while, you know that this is actually the third installment in the Jurassic World Evolution Biopark series that I've been doing, which is focused on building parks in the game which are biologically accurate through the use of mods. Before we go any further, I just want to say, mods of course are not officially supported by Frontier, so if you do decide to mod your game, please do so at your own discretion, and be aware that it can mess up, like with the game files, it's a little bit finicky. But I do think it's worth it if you do learn how to do it, because mods really, I think, are keeping the game very fresh and very much alive. So, let's talk about this series. So, as you may know, I haven't played Jurassic World Evolution on the channel in quite some time. It's been quite a few months now, and I've been wanting to get back into it. But I've just kind of not had the drive yet. I felt like there were a lot of great mods coming out, but I was waiting for like something big, some new really big overhauls to come into the game, so that I had more to explore. And recently all that has happened. We've had some incredible new mods which we'll be showing off in today's video. And of course throughout the series by incredibly skilled mod authors. And of course the links to all these mods and their authors will be down in the description. I'm using a fair few in here, so there will be a very extensive list down there. However, if you don't really want to be spoiled for what sort of creatures are going to be in this park, you might want to avoid that until maybe the last episode. But of course the list for all the mods will be down in the description. And when I say there have been some really big changes in the modding community recently for Jurassic World Evolution, I mean there have been some massive changes. Now we have incredible mods such as the Expanded Islands mods, which gives us like access to the huge sizes of these islands, and we have so much more space to work with. We have the new terrain tools, which are super useful. Incredible work. We have like new terrain mods, we have like new species mods, which are crazy. The fact that we can add new species now instead of replacing them. Essentially we have a huge variety to choose from, and they're all really amazing. To quickly go over some of the mods you'll be seeing throughout the series, of course we'll be using the Expanded Islands mod and the Enhanced Terrain Tool mod. So those are by, I believe Harlequin's Ego made the terrain mod, and if I'm not mistaken, was the Expanded Islands mod by the Toho Society? I'm not necessarily sure. I'll just double check that right now. That should be... yes, by the Toho Society. We're also going to be using the Expanded Paths, Pylons and Fences by Kyodenic, who also created the Ultimate Mixed Errors mod, which is what you're seeing on screen. We're also using Mr. Troodon's Better Fences. We'll have a lot of his cool fence work in here. And we are primarily using Northfire's Terrain mod, which is what you see on screen right now. It gives you this beautiful earthy green tones and really gorgeous, crisp, detailed rocks. Beautiful work. And also gives you some really cool paths as well. And finally, for some of the trees you'll be seeing around, we are using some of Zach's, I believe his username is UNSC2000 on the Nexus page, where he does have some really cool new trees that look really good, some redwood replacements, some ferns that look really beautiful. And of course you can see the Mixed Errors mod is such a great help. We already have so much creativity, we can mix, like pick and choose what we like, and over here on screen what we've been doing has been building the operations center. On every island I build, I always build an operations center. I think it's cool, adds a lot of realism, looks very interesting. As you can see, we're now decorating the operations center, on which I've placed plenty of really cool operations types buildings. Not all of them are functional. For example, we have fossil centers and research centers, which don't do anything in sandbox mode, but I think they look really good. And I think now adding the trees, you can see some of the new redwoods again by Zach, and they fit so well into this terrain by Northfire. Just all these mod authors are incredibly skilled and definitely well worth checking out, so please do. Again, links in the description. Now what we're going to be doing for this park is, like the title says, it's a biopark. We're going to focus on biological realism as much as we can. So these new mods that we'll be including are really good, and in today's video we'll be including 3 different species which are all really well made and really quite biologically accurate. So The first one is going to be the Borealopelta by Jagged Fang Designs. It is a gorgeous animal, and you'll see in the game later. It is so detailed and so like well made. This looks so good. Next one is Pachycephalosaurus, also by Jagged Fang Designs. We have used the Pachycephalosaurus before in the previous, in fact in our first biopark, which was Nublar Emergent Biopark, and those are really great as well. And our final animal is part of another mod, which is actually one of the reasons I was waiting to do it on the Jurassic World Evolution series, and that is the Struthiomimus. You might think, Struthiomimus is probably the single most basic animal in the game. It's the first dinosaur you get in any park. It is, it's not something anyone really thinks about, but Digital Duck has created this amazing feathered dinosaur pack, which includes the Struthiomimus and adds feathers to it, and it looks beautiful. I think the feathers add so much. And having now feathered small dinosaurs as part of that pack, like the raptors are feathered, some of the small animals like the Compsognathus, that's feathered too. It's just so nice to have animals with feathers now. In fact, even the pteranodons and the aviaries have been given these pictofibers. So just looks so good, and I'm very, very excited to essentially show them off and build them great habitats in this park. And now we're done with the operations center on screen. We're working on our first paddock, which is going to be very close to the entrance here. As you can see, there's a little bit of an entrance plaza with a couple of arrival pads. Nothing too crazy yet. Of course, this is just us starting out, me getting a feel for the park itself. Nothing major, but we're going to have a nice little entrance exhibit here so that guests can, get off their helicopters and immediately they're struck with, oh my god, there's a dinosaur right here. And just here you can also see the visitor center. This is going to be our first big building. So I'm going to imagine guests are going to walk through here, and then they're going to walk down the big path into the main park itself, which is going to look a lot more modern. You're going to have the big innovation center. It's going to look so much it's just going to look really good, I think. I'm very excited for the future of this park. I am very much keen on Jurassic World Evolution. I know I have been missing from it a while, but it remains one of my favorite games, genuinely. With or without mods, it is genuinely one of my favorite games. I would still recommend it. And one more reason I'm doing this is because Prehistoric Kingdom, another game, is going to be coming out relatively soon. I believe we got a few more months, but it's still relatively soon, and I'm very excited for that as well. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun play on the channel, but I thought this would help kind of whet our appetite a little bit for dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures. So yeah, that's almost it for the time-lapse portion of the video. As with all Jurassic World Evolution videos, for those of you who don't know, I like to do a live portion as well where I go into the game and kind of show us around. It's going to be a relatively short one, of course, because I have shown you most of what needs to be shown on screen right now. So it's going to be a pretty short one. I'll just show you what's going on. And yeah, then you'll get a better idea for what this is, and then there'll be cinematics at the end as always. So just quickly now, we're finishing up with the time-lapse, and I will catch you right after you watch the little videos of the dinosaurs being released. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, here we are in the game now, and as you can see, the operations center is a little bit more fleshed out than it was in the time-lapse. I did a little bit of work off screen. As you can see now, we have a nice little fence around the outside. This is one of the, I believe, Mr. Troodon's better fences. It looks really good. Very, very industrial, very, a little bit intense, but I think it suits the operations center vibe. And the operations center in general, I think, looks pretty good. You can see this big plaza around the middle. I think that looks quite nice, where everything kind of connects. And I think having things snapped onto an axis helps keep things organized while keeping them looking haphazard. I have no idea what I'm even saying, but I think it just looks really cool. Here have these new paths, which I really like as well. I think it's part of the expanded paths mod. Really narrow ones, which look really good. And here we have, like, as you can see, a mix of both the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World buildings, which look really good. Got this row of bunkers here, which I think, I just like the look of that. The big geothermal power plant here looks very, very nice. Got all of standard ACU stuff as well, you know, containment and all that. Really lovely foliage here, I believe by Zach. The redwoods look so nice. I like that you now have bigger clusters in that big cluster brush. And we have the lovely ferns as well, the cycads, and these new trees. I think they all look really good. As you can see, the Jurassic Park buildings look so good, and like melding them with Jurassic World buildings, I think look really nice as well. Like, they don't really stand out too much from each other, I think. They look really nice together. So I'm very pleased with how that all turned out. Up here, of course, we have where the dinosaurs get released from. Just a temporary containment area where before we move them into their main habitats, just have some food here and some water. Keep them busy, keep them occupied. So you can see there's no direct path here between the hatchery and the main operation center. I imagine, like in my head canon, there's underground tunnels. But to get over that problem, we just have another operation center where the people can come out from and go into the hatchery. That's one of the great features, I believe, about the Ultimate Mixed Eras, is that you can have these various operation centers and entry points, so I think it looks really good. Anyway, that's it for the operation center. I think it looks really nice. We might add on to it in the future, but for the most part, I am quite happy with it. Going back over to the main section of the park here, as you can see, we have this long path. This is where the majority of the park is going to be. It's going to be like a big high street, you know, standard sort of Jurassic World stuff, but with a lot more like emphasis on the fact that we can use a lot of this space now. So we might have some beachside hotels by the lake, that sort of thing. I think that will look really nice. And as you can see, the Innovation Center is really well poised here to be a big centerpiece against the mountains and the waterfalls. It's going to look really nice once we fill all this in. Going back up to what we've done so far, you can have the two entry points, of course, with the little entry plaza. You can see a helicopter just landing now. And the visitor center, which is the first building. I imagine it's kind of like a welcome area before you go into the park proper. And down here next to the plaza, we of course have our first habitat, which you can see as right as you walk in. You can see the little signs we've added too. The sign for the Pachycephalosaurs, the sign for the Ornithomimids, which are the Struthiomimuses here. And of course the Ankylosaurs, which is the Borealopelta, and you can see them all hanging out here. Let's look at the Struthiomimuses first. Absolutely beautiful work by Digital Duck. The feathers look great. I think just feathers have been so like just missing from the game in general. I think we've needed them, and they look so good here. Like I said before, I really think modding does bring such a breath of fresh air into the game, brings so much new life. And with these Struthiomimuses, I think that's such a great example. They look so good with the feathers, and genuinely, I'm such a big fan of them. I think they look stunning. The feathers remind me almost like of ostrich feathers, which I think they should, because Struthiomimus means ostrich mimic. They're beautiful animals. I just think they look so good. And I can only say good things about them. Really, really great. I like the brightness around the head, but then this wrinkliness around the neck really does remind me of an ostrich or something like that. Next up, we have the Borealopelta by Jagged Fang Designs. Jagged Fang Designs always does incredible work. Look at the detail, the scalation, especially around the head and the legs. So detailed, so beautiful. The colors are really nice too, not too vibrant, not too muted. I believe we have the main coloration somewhere around, but these are some of the alternate colors, which just look like, you know, individual animals. Really, really good. Let's see if we can find that main color. There it is, right here. This is the main Borealopelta. If we'll get out of the shade, we can see it a bit clearer. But they have these really nice, these red patterns, which I think look so good. And finally, we do have our Pachycephalosaurs, which are the same ones we used in Nublar Emergent Biopark. Really gorgeous. I think looks so much better than the default Pachycephalosaurs, and I am very pleased to have them in the game. So those are our first animals in this first little habitat. I love these narrow paths, by the way. I think they really add like a kind of staff path kind of feel. And I'm loving these new fences. The low fence especially is beautiful. It makes it feel so much more like a zoo. Like I feel like, you know, you can see guests walking along here. By the way, we don't have guests just because I haven't added any guest buildings. Once I do, they'll spawn in. Like, wow. Oh, I love this. This is little dude's just sleeping. Oh, but yeah, the low fence thing looks really good. You can see the dinosaur just above head height. Really, really nice. But yeah, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, links to all the mods will be in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I do hope you've enjoyed my little return to Jurassic World Evolution, and I hope you're excited for future episodes. There will be one every Friday if I can keep up to my schedule, so fingers crossed. And yeah, like the video if you did like it. Do comment down below if you have any suggestions for future habitats. And of course, do subscribe for more Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution content. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!